341 BC. Mailing Pass, China. A general races through the darkness, cavalry at his back, victory within reach. His name is Pang Juan, brilliant strategist, undefeated commander, servant of the state of Wei. And tonight, he's chasing a fleeing army. The enemy, the forces of Qi, are deserting. He saw the proof. First night, 100,000 cooking fires in their camp. Second night, 50,000. Tonight, 30,000. Cowards, running like he knew they would. He abandons caution, takes his elite cavalry, pushes through the night toward the kill. The gorge narrows. Mailing Pass. A bottleneck. Perfect place to crush a broken army. And then he sees it. A tree. Pale bark stripped away. Something carved into the wood. He signals halt, lights a torch, leans in to read. 4 characters, carved deep. Pang Juan dies here. The light is the signal. From the hills above, 10,000 crossbowmen. A single volley. Arrows like rain. Pang Juan is hit. Falls from his horse. Dying. And in that moment, he understands. The deserting army. The diminishing fires. The narrow pass. All of it. Planned. He wasn't hunting a fleeing enemy. He was walking into a trap. Set by the one man who knew him well enough to predict every move. Sun Bin. His former classmate. The man he'd once betrayed, mutilated, left for dead. And now, in the darkness, arrows raining down, Pang Juan speaks his last words. I have given that bastard the fame he sought, and dies. This is the art of war. Not strength against strength, not courage against courage. Deception, positioning, psychology. Winning before the battle begins. This is Sun Tzu. And this is how. Sun Tzu lived around 500 BC. Maybe. We're not even sure he was real. He might have been a general, he might have been a collection of military thinkers. Doesn't matter. The art of war exists. 13 chapters, written over 2,500 years ago, and it's influenced every strategist since. Chinese emperors, Japanese samurai, Napoleon read it, Mao used it, modern CEOs quote it. Not because it teaches how to win battles, because it teaches how to think about conflict. Any conflict. War, business, relationships, life. The principles are universal, and the first principle is this. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Most people think war is about who's stronger, who has more soldiers, better weapons, more courage. Sun Tzu says that's the worst kind of war, because if you're fighting, you've already failed. The best victory is the one that doesn't happen. Sun Tzu describes a hierarchy of victory. First, attack the enemy's strategy. Disrupt their plans before they form. Make their strategy impossible. Sun Bin did this. He knew Pang Juan would chase a fleeing army, so he created the appearance of flight. Pang Juan's strategy, crush the deserters, was the trap itself. Second, disrupt alliances. Isolate the enemy, break their support, turn their allies against them. If they have no one to fight with, they can't fight. Third, attack their army. If you must fight, fight, but only after the first two options are exhausted. Fourth, besiege their cities. The worst option. Costly, desperate, a sign you've already lost strategically. The lesson. The best generals never fight. They position, they deceive, they maneuver. And by the time the battle happens, the outcome is already decided. Pang Juan died in Maling Pass, but the real battle was won when Sun Bin convinced him to chase the diminishing fires. The arrows were just confirmation. Most conflicts are decided before they begin, not in the moment of impact, but in the moments that lead to it, in what you see, in what you understand, in how you position yourself before anything happens. Sun Tzu isn't teaching you how to fight. He's teaching you how to make fighting unnecessary. And when it isn't, how to arrive at the outcome before the first move is made. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. This is Sun Tzu's most famous line, and it's not about tactics, it's about psychology. The most dangerous deception isn't what others do to you, it's what you refuse to see about yourself. Pang Juan knew tactics, he knew formations, terrain, logistics, but he didn't know Sun Bin. He assumed Sun Bin's army was like every other army, that desertion meant weakness. He was wrong. And he didn't know himself, didn't recognize his own arrogance, his impulsiveness, his need to prove superiority. Sun Bin knew both. He knew Pang Juan would see the fires and think, cowards. He knew Pang Juan would abandon caution to deliver the killing blow, and he used that knowledge to kill him. Most people go through life not knowing themselves. They don't know their weaknesses, their triggers, their patterns. They repeat the same mistakes, fall into the same traps, because they never stop to ask, what are my blind spots? And they don't study the people they're in conflict with. They assume, project, guess, and lose. Sun Tzu says, study. Study yourself, ruthlessly, honestly. Where are you weak? What do you avoid? What patterns do you repeat? Study your opponent, not to hate them, to understand them. What do they value? What do they fear? How do they think? When you know both, you can't lose, because you'll see the traps before you walk into them, and you'll set traps they can't see. All warfare is based on deception. When you're strong, appear weak. When you're weak, appear strong. When you're near, appear far. When you're far, appear near. Sun Tzu's entire philosophy rests on this: control what the enemy sees. The diminishing fires weren't real. Sun Bin's army wasn't deserting, they were consolidating, preparing. But Pang Juan saw what Sun Bin wanted him to see: weakness, cowardice, opportunity. And that perception became his death. Deception isn't lying, it's controlling the narrative. In business, you don't reveal your strategy, you misdirect. In negotiation, you don't show desperation, even if you're desperate. In relationships, you don't expose every vulnerability immediately, you choose what to reveal and when. This isn't manipulation, it's strategy. Letting the enemy know everything is just giving them the win. And then there's formlessness. Be like water. Water has no shape. It flows, it adapts, it fills whatever container it's in. You can't cut water, you can't grip it, you can't pin it down. Sun Tzu says, be formless. Don't be predictable. Don't have a signature move. Don't be rigid. If the enemy knows your pattern, they'll exploit it. So have no pattern. Pang Juan had a pattern. He chased fleeing armies. He was aggressive, impulsive. Sun Bin had no pattern. He adapted, flowed around Pang Juan's strength, turned aggression into a weakness. This is Taoist philosophy embedded in strategy. Wu Wei. Effortless action. Yielding that becomes strength. The river doesn't fight the rock. It flows around it, and over time, the rock erodes.
Marling Pass wasn't random. Sun Bin didn't stumble into a narrow gorge and think, good spot.
He chose it, deliberately, because terrain is everything. The pass was narrow. Pang Juan's cavalry advantage? Useless. The hills were high. Sun Bin's archers? Perfectly positioned. The carved tree was visible from the path. Pang Juan would see it, light a torch, provide the signal. Every detail. Planned. Sun Tzu calls this positioning. The battle isn't fought with swords, it's fought with preparation. Choose the ground, control the conditions, maneuver the enemy into disadvantage. By the time they realize, it's too late. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. Read that again. Winners win before the fight starts. Losers fight first and hope it works out. Pang Juan thought the battle was about speed, about catching the deserters. Sun Bin knew the battle was about where it happened, and he chose the where. Most people think they lose because they're weaker. They're not. They lose because they walk into battles they've already lost, because they didn't choose the ground, didn't control the conditions, didn't even realize there was a game being played. By the time they see it, it's already over. Sun Tzu isn't a pacifist. He's not saying never fight. He's saying only fight when you've already won. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. If conflict is unavoidable, then fight. But fight decisively. Speed, surprise, overwhelming force. 10,000 arrows, all at once, no warning, no mercy, not cruelty, efficiency. Half measures prolong conflict, full measures end it. The whole secret lies in confusing the enemy so that he cannot fathom our real intent. And then, when he's confused, vulnerable, malpositioned, strike completely. The battle is short because the preparation was long.
Pang Juan was brilliant, experienced, successful. He'd won dozens of battles, led thousands of men. But he lost to a man who understood the deeper game. Not who's stronger, who's wiser. Not who fights harder, who positions better. Sun Tzu wrote The Art of War 2,500 years ago, and every principle still applies. Because human nature doesn't change. People still assume, still react, still fall for deception. People still fail to know themselves, still ignore their opponents, still walk into traps. The art of war isn't about military tactics. It's about life. How you move through conflict, how you position yourself, how you win without fighting. Most people fight first and ask questions later. Sun Tzu says, ask questions first. Position yourself perfectly. And by the time the fight happens, the outcome is inevitable. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Not because fighting is immoral, because it's inefficient. If you have to fight, you didn't position well enough. If you have to force the outcome, you didn't prepare well enough. Real victory looks effortless, because it was inevitable. Pang Juan lit a torch, saw his name carved in a tree, and understood, too late, that he'd been defeated long before the arrows flew. Sun Bin didn't beat him in battle. Sun Bin beat him in the choices that led to battle. That's the art of war. And it's the art of life. Know yourself. Know your enemy. Position yourself so well that victory is certain. And when conflict comes, it's already over.